This is why you are called to be a missionary. It doesn't matter who you are if you have alliance with Jesus. I'm going to try to tell you from the Bible why you are called to be a missionary. Now, you might think in your brain, a missionary is somebody who leaves their country, goes to another country, maybe learns another language, and preaches there and starts a church there and everything, and you would not be wrong. But is everybody called to leave their country and learn another language? No, not everybody is called. So, Jesus said, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations." This is a call to the local church. This is a call to the local church to embrace their community, to embrace their city, their country, and then the nations beyond, as we see in Acts chapter 1, verse 8. You will receive power from on high to be a witness, to preach the gospel in Jerusalem. So let's use Tampa, for example, Tampa, Florida. Jerusalem would be Tampa, Florida, if you're from there. Jerusalem is that first level of missions. Judea, which would be like the United States, okay? Samaria, which would be like a similar culture with the language, probably the same, but it's a different culture. It would be like England to the United States. And then he says, to the ends of the earth, Jesus says. And that would be cross-cultural missions. That would be like an American moving to Brazil to plant a church there speaking Portuguese, which is what I'm doing. Now, the first thing to understand is if you're somebody who has alliance with Jesus, you are called to at least embrace one or more of those levels of missions. Okay? You are at least embraced to cry out for the people in Jerusalem, which would be your city, which would be your community, your surroundings. Then you might get called to go out from there. Okay, so that's one of the first things to understand is you are called to missions no matter what. If missions means you are taking the gospel to places or people where it has not been received, then you could consider yourself a missionary. Now, on a more specific level, yes, cross-cultural missions would be the more common term for it. But another verse I would like to describe here and go into a little bit is when Paul is talking about preaching the gospel and how people believe in Jesus. And he says this, how can they believe, unbelievers, how can they believe in Jesus? How can they get alliance with Jesus unless somebody preaches? To believe, you need the word. To receive the word, someone needs to preach. Okay. How can somebody preach unless they are sent? Now, I want to highlight two other factors, two other facets of missionary work and missions. The first and main way to do missions is to be a missionary and to go. You might feel called to go out and to be a missionary, being sent by your local church, supported by your local church to make disciples, potentially of another nation. But what I want to focus in this video is why you are called to be a part of missionary work. Because Paul says that in order for somebody to go, they must be sent. Now, one other way, okay, to be a part of a missionary work is to send somebody and to support them financially. Luke chapter 16, verse 9 has one of the most profound verses about missions, but it doesn't even look like it. And Jesus says, essentially, I'm paraphrasing. He says, use money to win friends for yourself. so that when the money is gone, these friends would welcome you into eternal resting places. What he means there is use your money to preach the gospel, meaning send missionaries, to plant churches, right? To invest in works for the gospel so that people can receive Jesus. And when your life finishes, when the money finishes, those people will be there waiting for you in heaven. And so there's people in India, if you decide to sponsor a missionary or to sow into a church plant that is happening in another nation, there are people there receiving the gospel from people that you are supporting. And one day, you are going to see them in heaven, and they're going to want to give you a big hug, and they're going to be like what Jesus said, welcome, friend. And they're going to see you, you're going to see them, and it's going to be an amazing moment. So that's another way to be a part of missions, and this is what you and I are called to. We're called to be missionaries no matter what, in at least our local community, but also we can send the missionaries, we can support them financially. And then lastly, prayer. Being a missionary myself, being here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, having been sent from Tampa, Florida in the United States, I'm so grateful to the people in our local church there in Tampa that are praying for our church here in Sao Paulo. It's almost as if I can feel their prayers being sent over from another continent. Because, guys, without prayer, I mean, do I need to start preaching about it? Without prayer, nobody can survive, let alone a missionary in a completely other, in a completely different culture, different language, different food, people, places, things, everything's different. Then you have the spiritual aspect involved. So, are you called to be a missionary? The answer is simple. Absolutely. But what level, what form of missions? The clearest form of missions is there in Acts chapter 1, verse 8. Jesus talks about Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth, right? You can be a missionary within Jerusalem, within your own community, within a university, within a college, within a high school, within your family. But if you're somebody who's looking to say, okay, that's awesome, but am I called to be a missionary in another country? How can I know that? If you're somebody who is thinking about that, leave a comment below if you'd like me to make a video about that subject, and I would love to do it. Okay, let me know. All right? But are you called to missions? Absolutely, you're called. And so I'm really, really happy to see how at least our local church is understanding that, and our horizons are being expanded in this awareness of the need of the gospel to be shared. So let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. I'm hoping you're having a fantastic day. God bless you in Jesus' name.